pretty common problem that shows up. It's a really easy fix once we become aware of it and we become intentional in the movement. On the way down from the get up, we step back into this half kneeling position. The next step is to put my right hand on the floor, and what we saw in the previous video is just reaching that way, and now we have this hand, this knee, and this foot forming almost a right angle, almost a 90-degree angle. What I would like to see happen, because that causes lateral flexion of the spine, it makes it very difficult to control reaching the ground. Like, I can control myself enough to gently put my hand on the floor, but I'm feeling a lot of stress right here, an inordinate amount of stress, and I feel like I'm going to fall even when I don't have weight. So if I have a heavy weight overhead and I'm reaching for it that way, I am encouraging myself to fall without meaning to. The way to work around that is this. And there's two ways to get to this position. I'm going to take this back leg and I'm going to windshield wiper it 90 degrees, opening up the hips so that it's now perpendicular to the line that it was on. And then this hip is going to hinge and allow me to, with a very, very high degree of control, to lower my upper body, keeping my spine relatively straight until this hand gets to the floor. That's something I can't do if I'm kind of falling sideways. So that's one way to get into that position, is by doing the windshield wiper move with the leg, or with the bottom leg. The other way to get there, and this will give you a different angle to see it from, and I'm gonna move a little bit here so you can see it better. If it bothers the knee, to do the windshield wiper using it as the main point of contact, then we can open the hips that way. And now, instead of facing that way, I'm going to wind up facing to my left, but still hinging and getting this straight line on this side of my body. Once I've gotten through into that position, now it becomes very easy, let me get back in frame, it becomes very easy for me to put my weight on this leg and this arm, bring that other leg through into this seated position, keeping this shoulder packed, story for another time. But if we just practice this motion, this little section here, even with no weight, we can practice it in either way that we want to. See, that's the same thing I did earlier. I'm just different starting point. We wind up hinging on the side that the knee is on the ground, and that gives us a great deal of control. It sets us up for that kneeling windmill position, and sets us up for a lot of cool stuff that comes later with my other favorite circus trick lift, which is the bent press. I teach pretty much all pressing with some part of foundation in the get up, especially the bent press. The bent press, we wind up in that half kneeling windmill type